Hello everyone, this hour on Verbling, the next in my Getting Results in Business series. We're working on our new unit, How to Talk About Success. In this class, we're going to work on key expressions that you can use in a meeting to report back on the success or failure of a project that you've had. So, that's a little bit about the class. Here's a bit about me. I'm Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour, and I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. Here are 3 quick rules to help you participate in my class. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up, which means when you're not speaking, please turn off your microphone so we can keep the classroom quiet. When you are speaking, tune in to the new words and vocabulary that you're going to learn. Use it actively so that I can correct you and give you feedback. And finally, open up to your classmates. Just relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. And that is a little bit about me, and I want to know a little bit about you, just in case I don't know you. So welcome back, Luo and Giuseppe. Nice to see you. And, oh, Anton, too. Hello, Anton. Nice to see you.
Hello, teacher.
How's everyone today? Are we cool? Are we groovy? Everyone cool?
Cool.
Cool. Excellent. Okay. Hello. Don't call me teacher.
Hello, John. I can just hear this moment, so please ignore me if you want to ask me any question. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Give me a second. I'm going to get our presentation on screen. If I can just figure out where I put it. Hold on a second. It's disappeared. 1 second, and I'll get it back there. Hold on. It should be right here, and it disappeared. 1 second. No, that's not it. How to talk about success, part 2. You know why? Because it did download. So give me a second. What I'm going to do is, let me put the links in the chat room for you in case you don't have them. The first link is to our notes. I'll put notes. And the second link is to our presentation, which you can download if you like, but I'll share it with you on screen. Presentation 2, for some reason, mine disappeared. I don't know why, but I'm going to download it right now and put it on screen. Give me just a second to open it as a PDF. There we go, I got it. Download as PDF. And let's see if I can. Almost. Takes a second. Give me just a second. There we go. Okay, so let me just share my screen so you can see this as well. Oh, look, we got all kinds of people now. We've got Christian. I haven't seen you before. Hi, Christian.
Hi. Hello.
Where are you from, Christian?
I'm from Spain.
From Spain.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice to have you here.
Thanks.
And welcome back, Ishmael and Yuki as well. Okay, so here we go. You can open those links I gave you, or you can just follow along by watching the screen. In this unit so far, we've talked about achievements and failures, and we've worked on vocabulary to help you describe those, adjectives and nouns. This class, we're going to work on key expressions to report back on and evaluate research. What that really means is, here's a skill you would need in a meeting. In a meeting, you need to talk about the success or failure of something. So, in the last class, we had a kind of a fact-finding mission where you had to ask questions about research that had been done with different sort of business ventures. How did the launch of the mission statement go? The launch of the new product, something like that. So we're going to expand that a little bit and work on the key expressions you would use to have a meeting about those things in today's class. Okay? So first, first, I've got a question for you. Before we're going to look at an actual meeting. We're going to listen to the participants. But before we do that, I want to ask you a little bit about what you're going to be listening to. How popular are traditional things like handicrafts and furnishings in your country? What's a handicraft, by the way? So just so that's clear. Do you know what I mean by handicraft? Any ideas?
Craft
Maybe
is made handily.
Say again, I'm sorry? Say again? Repeat?
Handicraft is a work produced by hand labor.
Something handmade, right? Handmade.
handmade.
Yes, it
Right.
requires skillful hands.
Okay, so it's handmade. It requires skill. And I think, Ishmael, I think you were saying something, but we cut you off. Is that right?
Yes.
Go ahead. What were you going to say? What were you going to say, Ishmael?
I want to say handicraft is some pieces which is made at home by a successful home woman.
Only women? Really? Only women? Men can't
Not
do
only
handicraft?
women, but in my country, generally, women produce more than men.
Woman or
Because men,
woman
men-
or women? Woman or women?
women.
Women. Okay.
Men
And-
are-
And Ishmael, what are some Turkish handicrafts?
there are many, but I cannot say in English. Jon-Eric.
Can you describe one for us? Like, what does it do? What does it look like? Are they similar to the handicrafts that you see in the picture?
Yes.
Okay. So
And women and young girl are producing some
are producing or produce?
produce some
Somewhat.
carpet.
There you go. So you can describe it. They make
And-
carpets. They make carpets. They make carpets or rugs. If they're small, they're rugs. If they're big, they're carpets, usually.
Rugs and carpets.
Rugs and carpets. Okay. And they make them by hand?
By hand, but they use some
Like a loom, probably, right?
yes.
Something like that. Okay, very good. So Turkish carpets are a handicraft. Luo, you're somewhere in China, aren't you? I can't remember where you are, or I can't remember where you're based.
Well. I have told you I can just listen here, but for this question, yeah, I'm from China.
What are some handicrafts that come to mind? What are some Chinese handicraft that we might be familiar with?
Yeah. Actually, almost every family, especially the women, my mother and my mother-in-law will have give me a knitting sweater. I think it's handicraft. And yeah.
Are these particular to China? Is there something traditional about them? Because my grandmother used to make me sweaters too, but she wasn't Chinese. Not that I'm aware of, anyway.
Oh, I know. I really don't know, but I think this is something to show they care about you, so they want to make something for you.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Right.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be a handicraft unless it's traditional, unless it's something particular about the region, perhaps. So I could understand Turkish rugs. That would make sense. Sweaters from your mother, well, it's nice, but it might not be a handicraft per se. Usually, it's got to be something cultural. Let's find out about a handicraft, and we're going to use that as the basis for. We're going to be listening in on a meeting, actually, but the basis for the success or failure of a project. Sorry, you have
And
a question?
hi, John. Hi, John. Yes. Actually, my connection isn't very stable this time, so I don't want bothering you. So please don't ask me any question.
All right,
Okay.
but you sound
Maybe
fine
I
to
just
me.
want.
You sound good.
Oh, no, no. Right now you sounds like a robot. So please. Okay.
But listen, Luo, leave the class and rejoin it, and then your connection might improve. See if that
Oh,
helps.
thank you.
Sometimes that
Thank you.
works.
Yes, I will try. Okay.
All right. Okay.
I will try. Okay.
All right. And one more question. Christian, because you're new, where are you from in Spain?
I'm based in Madrid.
In Madrid. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that where you're from originally?
Well, I actually come from the north of Spain, a small town. It's called Pamplona.
From Pamplona?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you there's some traditional handicrafts from Pamplona, aren't there?
I think that some people do produce shoes, but we almost all the handicraft has been lost over the last years.
What are some things that you think have been lost that used to be produced there? Are they all about bullfighting? Because we always think of running with the bulls in Pamplona.
Yeah. I can remember, I can say one specific product, but I'm sure that, shirts and, everything that comes from textile and so on, those are the kind of things that, a few decades ago, they were made, handicraft, and now they are produced using machines. So
now
yeah.
you just go to Zara and you can buy it.
we almost all go to Zara now.
Right. Zara is Spanish, isn't it?
Yes.
Started in
Spanish.
Galicia.
Yes, they're big and they're doing very good.
They are.
And yeah, they're quite affordable and growing a lot. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about their manufacturing practices because I think they got into some trouble with where they produce and how much they pay their workers. But anyway,
I'm sure
that's what happened to your traditional handicrafts. You had Zara.
Yeah.
That's where they disappeared from.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm bringing that up because we're going to be listening. Okay. We're going to be listening in on a meeting. Trimpo is a retail chain selling traditional goods in shops across Europe. Paul O'Reilly is the chief buyer at the business's head office in Brussels. Two of his team have been on a fact-finding trip abroad. Does anyone know what I mean by fact-finding? What if he's the head buyer for a traditional goods shop? What's he looking for on his fact-finding trip? What do you think? Want to make a guess?
Fact-finding work is searching for the
well, what do you think he's looking for here?
Needs of customers. No.
Yeah, I mean, and he's probably looking for products. They're selling traditional handicrafted things so that they don't produce them themselves. They have to acquire them. So he's probably out there looking for new things that he can buy from local people and sell them. So we're going to listen to Paul's conversation with Ali and Sandrine. As we listen, you can take a few notes using this table. You can write on a piece of paper and share it with us. You can write in the chat window, whatever you prefer. Keep in mind that I may not see it in the chat window because it's I have to open it in a separate window. I might not see it right away, okay? But think about these three things: destination, impressions and verdict, and what the next step probably is, okay? We're going to listen to, let me see, I think it's just two things. Yeah, we're going to listen first to the gist, the general idea. Okay, here we go. By the way, let me just ask everyone to turn off your mic for a second. I'm just going to mute everyone for a second while I read because I'm hearing lots of typing and stuff. So you can turn on your mics in just a second. Okay, here we go. Paul says, "Welcome back, Ali. How was your trip to India?" Ali: "Oh, it was okay. Could have gone better. If you have a few minutes, I'll fill you in on everything." Paul: "Sure. So, what were your overall impressions?" Ali: "Well, on the whole, I was impressed with the welcome Mr. Rahman gave me, but I think we're wasting our time with them." Paul: "Oh, really? What makes you say that?" Ali: "Well, their factory is incredibly chaotic, old-fashioned. They're still using equipment from 20 years ago. They really need to modernize." Paul: "Oh, it's really difficult to believe. They certainly don't give us that impression, but at least there are no problems with communication." Ali says, "True, but that doesn't make up for everything else, believe me." Paul: "I see. This underlines the importance of seeing the operation in place. And did you find out what the problems were with the last consignment?" Ali: "Yes, I managed to pinpoint some problems with the paperwork." Paul: "So what's your verdict? Should we continue with them or not?" Ali: "To tell you the truth, I think we should let the current contract run and then look for someone else." Paul: "Well, he won't be happy. What we need to do now is to make sure that the rest of the orders are completed." Ali: "We should focus on improving their systems." Paul: "Yes, and perhaps review the situation in a couple of months if things improve." Okay, so that was the first part of the meeting. In the second part, Paul is talking to Sandrine about a different location. Listen to the second dialogue. Paul says, "Hi, Sandrine. Nice to have you back. How did it go in Vietnam?" Sandrine: "Well, if you can spare me some time later, I'll bring you up to date." Paul: "I'm meeting some of our shop managers this afternoon, but I'm free at the moment. Let's talk it over. Let's talk about it over coffee." Sandrine: "Sounds great." Paul: "So, give me an overview." Sandrine: "Well, I was pleasantly surprised. I think that Mr. Tran is an extremely good prospect." Paul: "I'm glad to hear it. Tell me more." Sandrine: "Well, the factory is small, but the business is really dynamic and efficient. They use modern equipment and skilled craftsmen. The furniture is of excellent quality, and I'm sure that if we gave them the right kind of support, he could become even better." Paul: "Oh, that's good to hear. Any communication problems?" Sandrine: "Well, a few, but with a mixture of French and English, we succeeded in understanding each other." Paul: Okay then. And did you make any other useful contacts?" Sandrine: "Yes, while I was traveling around, I came across some beautiful handicrafts. I made contact with a wholesaler, and I've brought back some samples." Paul: "Good. I look forward to seeing them. This highlights the need to build in time to have a look around." Sandrine: "I agree. So where does this leave us with Mr. Tran?" Paul: "Well, I think the next step is to get him over to visit us, to show him our operation and see what he thinks." Sandrine: "Great. I'm going to speak to him in the next few days. I'll invite him then." Paul: "Good. We need to concentrate particularly on developing a relationship and finding out more about him. Let's invite him over as soon as possible." And there you go. So, I've got a question for you in that dialogue. What I want to know is, what can you tell me about the destination, the impressions, and the verdict? What do we know about Ali first? What do we know about Ali?
We know that he went to India
Mm-hmm.
visit a factory.
Good.
But the impressions wasn't so good because the factory
The impressions
weren't
weren't
so good because the factory was old-fashioned.
That's right.
And
what was the verdict?
the verdict is that
Is or was?
they want to look for improvement and review the situation over there.
Uh-huh. So
And
are they
after
likely
that,
to continue with him, Giuseppe? Are they likely to continue or not?
they will evaluate a period of time and see if it is improved, if the situation is improved or not. From what I understand.
Well, there's one key word here, which is they're going to let the contract run. So I guess it means they're not going to cancel it, but they're going to look for someone else. So it sounds like they're not really thinking. Probably not going to continue with him. Probably not.
So the contract run out.
To me, that means that they could cancel it, but they're not going to cancel it. They'll let it run. But it also means that they're going to let it run out without renewing it. Probably they're not going to renew the contract with him.
Okay.
But they are definitely going to be looking for someone else. So it sounds like they're going to move on as soon as they can. Sounds that way. So, Christian, let me ask you, or Christian or Ishmael. Oh, or I know that Luo, you're having some connection problems, and Anton, I think you're having connection problems too. So, Christian, Luo, what was the next step for Ali? Did anyone catch that? What was the next step for Ali, or the next step that Ali and Paul decide?
They should improve the system.
Yeah, they talked about it. They talked about improving. He has, as Giuseppe said, it's kind of outdated, old-fashioned. So they're going to improve the system. And Giuseppe also said that they're going to review. They did talk about a review. Okay.
And then
yeah,
they are looking for a new business partner.
That's right. So they're going to make sure. What's the thing they have to? What's the word? They have to make sure before the contract runs out. What do they have to make certain of before anything else happens? Before the contract ends? Did you catch that? There's one thing they have to really do before the contract with this guy or this company ends. Anyone? I'll take that as a no. They have to make sure that their orders are complete. So if their orders are not complete, they can't end the contract. So they're basically going to finish out their business with their contact in India. Okay, let's say a quick hello to Angelica, who's joining us a little bit late. Hello, Angelica. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Oh, I can barely hear you. Can barely hear you. You're very quiet.
Problem with my microphone.
Okay. Where are you from, Angelica?
I'm from Italy.
From Italy. Fantastic. Where in Italy?
South Italy, near Naples.
South Italy. Near Naples. Okay. Very good. From Sorrento. Yes?
No.
From Massalubrenza. Yes?
Salerno.
Ah, Saverno. That was my next guess. I was about to say that. Okay. Very good.
Okay.
Thank you. What we're doing is we're working on key expressions that you can use in a business meeting to evaluate the success or failure of a project. We're doing that by listening to a meeting between this guy, Paul, who's a chief buyer at the company. The company deals in handicrafts. We've listened to 2 meetings he's had, one with Ali and one with Sandrine, and we're just talking about the general idea right now. We're then going to pick out some of the key expressions he used so that we can use them in our own meeting. So that's the plan, Angelica. That's what we're doing so far. Okay? And let me ask the group, what about Sandrine? What was his destination? I don't know if it's a him or her, actually. Vietnam, right. Continue. What was the impression? Continue.
It was a good prospect for them.
That's right. That's right. Why was that? Why was it good?
Oh, because it seems to be a small factory there, but with a good efficiency, and the furniture for them seems to be excellent.
Okay, good. With a good efficiency?
Yes, small but a good efficiency.
Wait. I'm talking about English now. Can we say good efficiency? If it's efficient, you don't need good. One or the other. Clear? Yes? No?
Yes.
Okay, so take out good. You could just say it seemed to be efficient. You don't need to say good efficiency because efficient is already good. So it seemed to be efficient. It seemed to be dynamic. The furniture had excellent quality. Okay, I agree with all those things. And so what was the verdict, Anton? Are they going to stick with him or not?
Yes, the verdict was in a good way because they want to maintain a good relationship with the company, and they wanted to make an appointment in order to concentrate in teach the way they are operation in their country, and to visit the company must visit our country or the country of the main people to understand why
in Brussels, right?
The process.
In
Yes,
Brussels, where their head office is. That's right. Okay, what were the problems that they encountered? Did anyone catch any problems?
Yes.
Okay, what, Ishmael? What were some problems that you heard?
The communication was a little difficult because they are using some French word when they are speaking in English.
Listen, we have to be really careful with the continuous. We can't overuse the present and the past continuous. They are using French words. That would mean right now, in this moment.
Yes.
So you've got to use the past.
They used French
right?
words when they are speaking in English.
That's right. They used some French words because Vietnam was a colony of France, so there's a lot of French speakers. So they couldn't quite get by on English. Okay? So that communication might have been a bit of a problem. Okay, and we know the next step because Anton already told us what the next step was, that they're going to invite them to Brussels so they can get familiar with their operation, and that will help them improve and they can see how things should be done in a more efficient way. Okay, we got to work on the key expressions that you've heard. These phrases are from the first conversation. Listen to the second conversation again and write the phrases that mean the same thing. You need to say them or match them from memory. So listen to the second conversation for the second time, otherwise I think it'll be too difficult. Okay? Listen again. I'm going to read it one more time, and I want you to try to find the synonymous expressions. Here we go. This is conversation 2 with Paul and Sandrine. Paul: Hi, Sandrine. Nice to see you back. How did it go in Vietnam? Fine. If you can spare some time later, I'll bring you up to date. That was Sandrine. Paul says, I'm about to meet some of our shop managers this afternoon, but I'm free at the moment. Let's talk about it over coffee. Sandrine: Sounds great. Paul: So, give me an overview. Sandrine: Well, I was pleasantly surprised. I think that Mr. Tran is an extremely good prospect. Paul: Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Tell me more. Sandrine: Well, the factory is small, but the business is really dynamic and efficient. They use modern equipment and skilled craftsmen. The furniture is of excellent quality. I'm sure that if we gave him the right kind of support, he could become even better. Paul: That's good to hear. Any communication problems? Sandrine: Well, a few, but with a mixture of French and English, we succeeded in understanding each other. Paul. Okay then. And did you make any other useful contacts? Sandrine. Yes, while I was traveling around, I came across some beautiful handicrafts. I made contact with a wholesaler, and I've brought back some samples for you to look at. Paul. Good. I look forward to seeing them. This highlights the need to build in time to have a look around whenever we travel. Sandrine. I agree. So where does this leave us with Mr. Tran? Paul. Well, I think the next step is to get him over to visit us and show him our operation. Sandrine. Great. I'm going to speak to him in the next few days. I'll invite him then. Paul. Good. We need to concentrate particularly on developing our relationship and finding out more about him. Let's invite him over as soon as possible. Okay. If there's any questions about what I read, just ask. Okay? If not, then what we're going to do is go right on to the exercise. We're going to go around the room, and I'm going to ask you which expressions that you heard matched the same expressions from the first conversation that are there on your screen. Okay? So let's start right in the middle with Giuseppe. In the first conversation, he says, "How was your trip?" What does he say that's different in the second conversation? Different, but means the same.
How did it go in Vietnam?
Perfect. How did it go in Vietnam is correct. Let's see. Ishmael, in the first conversation, I'll fill you in on everything. In the second conversation, what did he say? What do you think, Ishmael? Do you know it or pass?
I didn't catch.
Okay, no problem. We'll pass to Luo, if your connection is good. What did he say?
Well, actually, I missed a lot of things and I attracted by something, so I have no idea.
Okay, so pass. Yuki, did you catch it? I think that's a no.
Yes. Sorry, I have a connection problem.
Okay. Everyone's having connection problems today. What's going on? I think that's something wrong with the Hangout. Did anyone catch this? What was the equivalent expression to "I'll fill you in on everything"? Did anyone catch it? Going once? Going twice? No one got it. The answer is, "I'll bring you up to date." I'll bring you up to date. That was in the second listening, the one I just read for the second time. Anton, in the first listening we heard, "So, what were your overall impressions?" Did you catch the equivalent expression in the second one?
I guess it's give an overview.
That's right. Give me an overview. It means the same as what were your overall impressions. That's right. In the first dialogue, Christian, he says, "I was impressed with X, Y, and Z." How did he express that in the second one we just listened to, Christian? What did you hear?
I'm afraid I missed it.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. I had to attend someone here in the office, and
no problem.
I'm afraid I missed part of the story.
No problem. No problem.
Sorry about that.
Did anyone catch it? Going once? Going twice? Okay. So the answer is, he said, "I was pleasantly surprised." Pleasantly surprised. I was impressed with, the equivalent was pleasantly surprised. Angelica, in the first dialogue, you might not have heard it, he says,
I didn't
well,
hear.
okay.
I didn't hear, sorry.
But you heard the second one, right? You heard the second one.
Okay.
Yeah? So in the first one, at one point he says, "Oh, what makes you say that?" He's asking about a detail, like why are you impressed or why you're not impressed? What makes you say that? What was the equivalent expression in the second dialogue that you heard? In other words, he's showing his interest. How does he show his interest?
Sorry, pass. I didn't
Pass.
catch.
Pass to Giuseppe.
Yeah.
Pass.
Pass to someone. Anyone? Going once? Going twice? The equivalent expression was, tell me more. He says, tell me more, showing his interest. Okay. I'm going to open the rest of them up to the entire class. So whoever knows, speak freely. Number 5. What makes you say that? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I did that one. Sorry. Number 6. This underlines the importance of blah, 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 blah. What was the equivalent in the second dialogue? Instead of underline, what was the key word that he said?
Highlights.
Highlights is correct. Fantastic. This highlights the need to be there in person, something like that. Number 7, what we need to do now is talking about what's coming up. What was the equivalent expression? Instead, need to do now, he uses a different word. I'll take that as a no. The answer is, I think the next step is to invite him over, something like that. The next step. The next step is. Okay, finally, number 8. He says, we should focus on. What is the word he uses instead of focus on in the second dialogue?
Concentrating.
Right. That's correct. We need to concentrate particularly on. And then I forgot exactly what he said, but that's right.
Developing relationship.
Good. Developing a relationship with him, right. We need to concentrate particularly on developing a relationship. So, once again, those 8 expressions were, how did it go? I'll bring you up to date. Give me an overview. I was pleasantly surprised. Tell me more. This highlights the need to. I think the next step is. And finally, we need to concentrate particularly on doing X, Y, or Z. Those are key expressions I want you to use explicitly in the speaking activity that we're going to do. Okay, but we're not done yet. Choose a phrase, any of the phrases that we just learned. I know you've got to use your memory. I didn't write any of these down. But when you use your memory to fill in the blanks. So we're going to pick 2 people to do A and B. And we're going to do it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 2 people to do A and B. So you had to have heard the dialogues, okay, in order to do this. And somebody is, okay, I don't know what's going on here. Let's say a quick hello to Hanan, because you're joining us right now. Hello, Hanan, how are you doing? I don't hear you, Hanan. Okay, so let's say a quick hello to, oh, there you are. Fantastic. Where are you from, Hanan?
From Mexico.
From Mexico. Great to have you here. We're learning key expressions that you can use in a business meeting to talk about success and failure. We just listened to a business meeting, and now we're going to use this fill-in-the-blank exercise to highlight the key vocabulary from those expressions that we heard, just so you know what we're doing. And let's say a quick hello to, how do I say your name? Rep Leone?
Actually,
how do I
my
pronounce
real
your
name
name?
is Caesar.
Caesar, I've seen you before. Caesar, I remember
a Roman
you.
emperor.
You've been here before, haven't you? You've been here before. I've seen you before, haven't I?
No.
No? Oh, okay. Maybe it was a different Caesar.
Yeah, really.
All right.
I was
We have a lot of Caesars floating around.
The thing is...
a lot of Caesars.
Oh, yeah. anyhow.
I think that
I'm
there's
right
something
here.
wrong with the Hangout today because everyone seems to be having problems. Okay, so if you're just joining us, we
Yeah.
listened to 2 short business meetings and we're picking out the key expressions. If you haven't listened to the meetings, you're not going to be able to do this exercise. So just follow along from now, and then we'll get back to you at the end of the class because we'll do a little bit of speaking once we start to get familiar with these key expressions, okay? So I'm going to go around the room, starting with Angelica and Anton. I'd like you to try to do the first set of A and B for us. Okay, we're having a business meeting for Angelica, you're A.
How was in Australia?
How was what, Angelica? You're missing a word. How was
your trip?
Okay, or you could also say, how was it? So just it. How was it in Australia?
How was it in Australia? Yes.
That's it. And Anton?
It could have started better.
Ah, okay. Next, we're going to go to Christian for A, and then Giuseppe for B.
Okay, so what do I have to do? I have to place a question, a business question?
Not any question. Use one of the questions that we just learned in the last 2 activities.
But I have to say sorry again. I missed the story.
Use your best guess. Don't worry. Look at the context. Look at the context. You know what you're going to say second about the airline, okay? So make your best guess, and I'll help you.
I'm afraid I should be seeing some kind of a presentation that I'm not actually seeing because
on the screen you don't see the slides?
No, not.
Uh-oh.
Okay, now I have it.
Okay. So look, someone just said that the meeting could have started in a better way.
Okay. Yes.
So you need to ask a question about that.
Okay. So what happened in the airport?
Good. What happened? And a key expression we heard was, what makes you say that? What makes you say that? It's another way to say what happened. What makes you say that? Okay, keep reading A, Christian.
Okay, so well, the airline lost my suitcase. Otherwise, it went very well. Thanks.
Oh, wait a second. That's a typo. That should have been B. That should have been Giuseppe. Okay, Giuseppe, you're B. You're B, who I think is really A. I think that's a typo in the material. Sorry about that. Giuseppe, continue.
So, what were your overall impression of the operation there?
Impression or impressions?
Impressions.
Absolutely. So what were your overall impressions of the operations there? Very good. That's it. So we're going to continue on with Ishmael and Luo.
Well, it seems like there are real problems with cash flow.
Oh, wait, you skipped one. Go back to A where it says, I have to say.
Oh, okay. I have to say that on the whole, pulling everything apart from one area.
Oh, sorry, I had to do some house chores, but I listened something, but I missed a lot of things, so I have no ideas with this blank. Thank you.
Well, hang on 1 second, because Ishmael is still filling in number 4 for us. So give it a second.
Let me fill you everything apart from one area.
So, do you think so? It was a good impression or a bad impression, Ishmael? Based on the rest of the text, do you think it was a good or bad impression? Or is it not clear?
I think it is a good impression.
Absolutely. So what was the key expression we learned that would be a positive reaction to a good impression? How did the person feel apart from one area? What do you think, Ishmael? Do you remember some of the key expressions we used?
I was quite impressed.
Very good. That's it. That's exactly
I was
right.
quite impressed everything apart from one area.
I was quite impressed with everything.
Everything.
Okay, very good. Okay, and then Luo, there's a blank there. There's a blank, but you can probably figure out the blank by looking at what happens before and after. So Luo, listen to the whole dialogue from the beginning and then see if you can do number 5. It starts with number 1. How did it go in Australia? Or how was it in Australia? B. It could have gone better. A. What makes you say that? Well, the airline lost my suitcase, otherwise it went very well, thanks. Then B says, so, what were your overall impressions of the operation there? Then A says, I have to say that on the whole, I was impressed with everything apart from one area. What do you think is the next line, Luo? Based on what you heard and what comes next, what do you think is the general idea? Does the person want more information, Luo?
From my this time's opinion, I think maybe it could be sounds good.
Sounds good. Like good. And now there's a request, right? Now there's a request. Sounds good. How would you request more information?
Could you be more specific?
Okay. Could you be more specific? What we heard in the dialogue was, tell me more, right? We heard tell me more, and we heard also, what makes you say that? I think that was it. Tell me more and what makes you say that on the previous slide. Okay? But could you be more specific is fine. It's if you say it in the right way. If you say it in the wrong way, it could sound like you're being critical. But if you say it in the right way, it's okay. Sounds good. Could you be more specific?
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Very good. Okay, let's continue on with Yuki and Angelica. So Yuki, you're reading A first. Actually, Yuki, you're reading A and B, and Angelica, you're doing the last A. Okay, Yuki?
Well, it seems like there are real problems with cash flow. I suppose this...
I suppose this means that we need to find a better system of payment.
Just wait.
Too late.
Now I'm thinking.
Angelica, you were supposed to be number 7. You did 6.
Sorry.
Okay, Angelica. Wait, Yuki, you do number 7. Angelica, repeat number 6 for us.
Okay.
I suppose this means we need to find a better system of payment.
Good. Can you remember the key word we used instead of, I suppose this means? What was the key word we heard in the second dialogue, Angelica?
The next step.
Say again?
The next step to do is to find a better system of payment.
Not exactly. There were two words that we heard. And look, we can go back to the previous slide. Look at number 6. This underlines the importance of. What was another way to say that? This underlines the importance. Another way to say underlines the importance. Do you remember?
We need to concentrate. No.
It's a synonym, but the one that we heard was this highlights the need.
Yes.
I suppose this highlights the need to find a better system. Okay, Yuki, what about 7? Finish it up for us, Yuki.
Yes, we really should focus on improving this aspect of the business before we do anything else.
That is it. That's perfect. Okay, so it was, how did it go? What makes you say that? What were your overall impressions? I was impressed with. Tell me more. Sounds great. Tell me more. 6 was highlights the need for. And 7 was should focus on or need to concentrate on. All of those were good key expressions. And we're going to use those. I don't think we're going to have time in today's class, but we're going to use those in an activity. So let me just give you a quick overview of what's coming up. We don't have enough time to start this. So in the next class, you're going to be working. We're going to be having a meeting of our own. And I'm going to give you a structure for the meeting. You and a partner work for, oh my God, I don't even know how to say that. Caravanserai, a travel agency specializing in adventure action holidays. You're going to be reporting back to each other about a fact-finding mission of your own. So I've given you the details on screen on page 7. So for one group of people is going to be student B. It's right in front of you. And on slide or page 8, slide 8, you've got another set of details that you're going to use to answer those questions and ask questions of your own. You need to use those key expressions we've just learned. So to help you with that, I'm going to give you a little homework you can do on your own to try to remember some of those key expressions. In class tomorrow, you can cheat by going to the last slide, slide 9, whoops, slide 10, where you'll see I have conveniently put all the key expressions that we've been learning in one place, and a few that we haven't learned, a few that are just good to keep in mind. How to ask for feedback, how to ask for justification about something. Go ahead. Question? No? Okay. How to introduce feedback, how to emphasize a point, how to give a general evaluation, and how to identify future actions. So by going to the course material, you can download this presentation, and you can also find that link in the chat window as well. So you can study those expressions. But I'm also going to give you a homework in the message service at Verbling. I'm going to post a link for you to try a homework on your own, which will help you have a little bit of practice with those key expressions that you're going to be using in tomorrow's class. Okay? So we're going to end now. Tomorrow I'll be back for 2 hours starting at 10 GMT and 11 GMT for this class, which is the second part of our key expressions in a business meeting for how to talk about success. Okay? I'll send the link a little bit later today. I've got another class to teach, but a little bit later, you'll click on the link in the Verbling message window. I'll send it to you directly. You'll click on the link. The answers will be in the homework, so you can correct yourself, and then you bring your questions to class. If there's anything you didn't understand, we'll use all of those expressions in tomorrow's class to have a business meeting of our own. Okay? Any questions before we go? Are we cool? Are we cool?
Yes, we are very cool.
We're very cool. That's what I want to hear. All right.
Good.
So, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 GMT for, I think it's Hot Topics, and 11 GMT for the next installment of How to Talk About Success. Bye for now, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Take care.